But I'm very lucky to have someone sitting right opposite me. And so I'm going to jump straight into this interview. We promised you before the ad break that we were going to give you a little bit of legal perspective with regard to what's happening in the Durban High Court with our former president, Jacob Zuma. Now, let's go back exactly. It was when? 2009. It was a big announcement that we all listened on when the acting head of the National Prosecuting Authority at the time, Mokotedi Mpshe, had addressed the media on the charges faced by former President Jacob Zuma. You remember he announced that it would be neither possible nor desirable for the NPA to continue with the prosecution of Mr Zuma. Well, let's fast forward 9 years, and the former president will today be facing the very same charges in a court of law. So we're very lucky to have with us in studio to talk about this legal journey that is in relation to the arms deal. We've got Ulrich Roux, a legal expert, to help us unravel all of it. Good to have you. Thanks so much, and I'm glad you're sitting opposite me now.
Good to be here. Thank you, Leanne.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about this. I know you and I have spoken about it before. It's not the first time, but here we go. We fast forward 9 years, and these have kind of been on the back burner for a while. But one thing is that the opposition here in South Africa, the opposition parties, have never let this go, and they've wanted this moment for a very long time for President Jacob Zuma to face these charges. And it's finally happening.
Yes, definitely. You've sketched a small picture of the history to this matter, but remember, it relates to the arms deal that goes right back to 1999. In 2005, Shabir Sheikh was convicted on those same set of facts, and as you correctly said, in 2009, Mr Mpshe decided that Jacob Zuma would not be prosecuted in light of the so-called spy tapes coming to the fore. And 9 years later, after numerous applications by the DA and freedom under law, Jacob Zuma is finally going to have his day in court. He has also from the outset said that, if he is granted his day in court, then he will be able to prove his innocence. So ironically, that day has now finally come today.
Yeah. Let's go back into these charges now, because I mean what we're understanding, and I think it's out there, it's quite common knowledge about the number 783 illicit payments that were basically channeled through his financial advisor at the time, Shabir Sheikh, which, as you mentioned, he was convicted at the time. Is this what it's basically relating to?
So the actual charges that he's facing and why he's in court today relates to money laundering, fraud, racketeering and corruption. Those are only 18 charges. So the charges are 18, and if this matter does go to trial in the future, then those charges will be put to him. But it relates to 783 counts. So in other words, 783 incidences where he is alleged to have committed either fraud, corruption, money laundering or racketeering. He's faced with 16 charges, and then Thint, the arms manufacturer, is faced with 2 charges. We have heard that today the matter will be postponed, and that the parties have apparently agreed to postpone it because Thint is desirous of making representations to the NPA in an attempt to have the charges against them withdrawn. So remember that Jacob Zuma has been granted that opportunity for a number of months to make those representations. The NPA has still decided to prosecute him, but now Thint is going to try their hand at having the charges withdrawn. And it will only be lawful for the court to grant him that opportunity. So no real fireworks in court today. It will merely be a postponement. But I think, on behalf of the NPA and, as you said, the opposition parties, it's definitely a step in the right direction. At least the matter is being placed on the court roll today, and the matter will now be moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a moment I think that many people want to see. And let's not kid. The former president himself has said, "I want my day in court, and I want to also prove my innocence." So if he is in fact innocent, this is the time for him to come forward and to prove this moment. However, I mean, it's going to be quite difficult for him, isn't he? I mean, isn't it? Because when you look at the fact that Shabir Sheikh was already found guilty of doing something like this and convicted on these charges, this is going to be a very tough battle for him, or maybe you can
Well,
fill us in.
it's certainly going to be an interesting and intricate one. The facts that Schabir Shaik was convicted upon and that evidence that the NPA used to convict him on will certainly come into play in the Jacob Zuma matter, as well as additional evidence and additional witnesses that could possibly take the stand. We've heard that the NPA has come on record saying that they've got 207 witnesses available. Now that is a massive witness list, far bigger than if you had to compare it to other matters, say for instance the Oscar Pistorius matter, there was 40 witnesses. So it's 5 times bigger than that matter, essentially. So, it is going to be a very intricate and difficult battle. It is certainly going to take a very long time. But we are unfortunately not in a position to say whether it's going to be difficult for him because we haven't seen the docket yet.
Yeah.
We haven't been privy to exactly what evidence they have, the NPA holds against Jacob Zuma, other than that what we've seen in the Schabir Shaik matter. So only once the matter is set to go down to trial and a trial date is set, then the defence must be furnished with a copy of that docket so as to allow them to prepare for the trial and so as for them not to be blindsided when evidence is led during the trial.
Okay. Ulrich, just as we wrap, very quickly, we need to get to sports news, but you say that this is going to be a very long and protracted case that we're going to see for a while. Give us a guesstimate. I mean, how long is this going to go on for? And if you can quickly also tell us what you expect today. I mean, procedurally, is this a very quick appearance?
Yes, it should be very quick. As I said, it's merely to place the matter on the court's roll, and then we've heard that the parties have agreed that it will be postponed. As to how long it's going to take, how long is a piece of string, but I would say that we would be lucky to get a result in this matter and finalisation on it within the next 3 years.
Wow, okay. So this is going to cost a lot of money and take a lot of time.
Exactly.
And of course a lot of coverage from the media, and you can get that coverage right here at the SABC. It should be starting at 9:30 this morning. We've got reporters that are covering it all over for us, including that march in support of former President Jacob Zuma that'll be happening in Durban. So thanks very much to our legal expert Ulrich Roux chatting to us about former President Jacob Zuma's first day in court. Right, time for your sports news, and I'll hand you over to Valen for that.